The movie you're making me watch today is Brick. 2005. Ryan Johnson's first movie. And it's a first movie from a director, which means it was Schwartz's pick.
Yes, this was Schwartz's pick.
Yup. You got a word for this, Schwartz? Word.
My word is just, huh?
Really? Huh? Is this the first time you see it? Okay, never mind. Hold on. Jake, what's your word?
My word is brave.
Guy gets punched in the face like 8 times in this movie. It's pretty great.
Exactly. That's kind of part of the reason I chose brave. But other reasons, I mean. We'll go to that. Anthony, what's your word?
Reminds me of a toaster. Hard-boiled is my word.
Hard-boiled.
Like an egg, huh?
It was either that or overcooked. I'm kidding.
I almost went with overcooked because there's a lot to this movie that sometimes I felt there was a little bit extra to this movie that was like unnecessary, but other times I'm like, this is, I get what it was going for. But Schwartz, tell us what this movie was.
I think this movie borders on absurdity very, very much throughout the last half. It literally it comes to the tipping point where it doesn't quite tip over, but it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, just the best thing is that the dude's driving around in a fucking car, a fucking little conversion van with a goddamn light, a lamp in it. And I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That was amazing.
What's his name?
The pin. That was the Pin's drug dealer
van. The Pin's van is the dope. It's like a fucking Merlot Astro van.
Yeah, that was another thing I thought was dumb but also clever. Like it's just there's a lot of this movie where I thought was dumb but clever at the same time, which is
I don't think dumb. I don't think dumb is fair. I don't think dumb is fair.
No, dumb's not a good word.
Absurd, maybe weird,
absurd,
but I don't think dumb is fair.
Yeah. A little goofy, absurd. A little silly.
So yeah, it's a little. So all right, so this is a movie set in a high school. That's the thing you gotta realize too, is these kids are all supposed to be like 18, 19, 17 years old. Like that's the first thing you gotta kind of get in your head. That's very unbelievable just because of the way they talk. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this is a
son of a bitch.
Film noir. He was gonna say.
He was gonna say this is a film noir. When he's coming back.
Yeah, did I break up?
This is a film noir. Is that what you're gonna say?
Oh, so this is a film noir set in like a mid 2000s high school, and it's just modern day, but it's everything a film noir is. It's a character who constantly is getting in situations he shouldn't be in, getting the shit kicked out of him, trying to help a girl that is shitty to him, and she ends up being like a pretty weird, shitty person, but he loves her anyway. He gets into all kinds of mischief, and he's basically like dying almost halfway through the movie.
Yeah, why is he dying halfway through the movie?
He gets beat up through the whole fucking movie. That guy beats him up like 5 times.
And that's why he's like coughing and shit the last half of the movie.
He's getting punched in the fucking like ribs and shit. But anyway,
what the fuck is wrong with him? Why is he coughing?
I think
at one point I'm like, did he get poisoned? Did he miss him get poisoned? I thought that for a second. But
he was gonna take the heroin, but he didn't have to.
Right.
They got raided. But anyway, this movie was made for $450,000, and he shot it in San Clemente, where he's from, or someplace up there.
What they do with the other $200,000?
Well, dude, that's this is what I'm about to say. Like he used like locations that he knew, like families and friends' houses for the places they lived. Like the high school was the high school that he went to. This is a movie. This movie was made for $500,000, and it's pretty amazing for that. Like it's telling a very original story that is just told in a way that is just super not seen at all. Like that's what's cool about it. This movie's really good for a first feature made for $500,000. It's like above average. It's like this dude did an amazing job. And like he got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who carries it. Like he really is great as the guy who can carry the whole movie. I thought he pulled that off pretty damn well. In 2005,
who was Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Was he anybody?
He had just come off of that show, I think, that sitcom he did.
Third Rock from
the Sun. He already did that. I think at this point he was just coming off of that. This is one of his first like movie like roles, I think, and I think it's something he really wanted to do.
Ryan Johnson, his career was on a rise. I think at this point, it was kind of like it was going somewhere. It was just starting off.
Well, this is This is before he took a break. Like he took a break for a few years too. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He took like 3 or 4 years off.
He did that show, and he was like just kind of a joke in that show. And then the fact that his career is where it is today, if you base it on that show, is pretty awesome. He's JGL. Yeah. He was in Inception.
Yeah, man. Looper, another Rian Johnson classic.
Looper.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's when like Levitt was like kind of getting hot right there. I was like around like maybe 2010, a few years after this.
Yeah,
that was like whenever like Batman came out, or whichever Batman that was. He was in Dark Knight Rises, I think.
He was in the third one.
Yeah, like right in there was that other romance
Inception.
with movie. Yeah, Inception.
500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, that was like he was kind of popped at this point, but this was a few years before that. You're right.
Snowden.
Yeah. Snowden was actually a really good movie. Yeah. Oliver Stone actually did a really, really great job with that film.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's actually really good. Anyway, what did you guys think of this movie? I was watching this thinking to myself, I think Anthony's going to like this movie because I think he's going to think it's like something he's never seen before. And I think Jake's going to not like this movie because he's going to think it's just a little too much.
You're definitely right about I thought it was a little bit too much at times. Like, yeah. I almost went with the word pretentious.
Yeah, but I think it's borderline trying to have you think that, but it's just not crossing the line.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I see what it was trying to do, and that's why I ended up landing on the word brave, because I'm like, it probably took some balls to do this for a first-time filmmaker.
Yeah, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing it probably took some balls. You know what I mean? Himself.
Let me talk.
Sorry.
All right, where was I? Yeah, like I was saying, like with the fucking like how he kind of made it like for a first-time guy. But I see what he was doing for sure. Like he wanted to do this own thing. But with like the dialogue of the fact that there were like high school students who talked like that, like at times it drove me a little crazy. But I obviously know what they're trying to do, because like I'm a film guy. I think you have to be a fan of film to like this movie,
to like it, to appreciate it. I don't think you'd like it, but to really appreciate all of it.
Yeah, that's a better thing, because I think I appreciated this movie more than I liked this movie. So that's a good point.
So I had a question before you got on, Schwartz, before we started rolling, was I wonder if I would have liked the movie as much as I did if I didn't know what a film noir was.
Right. Yeah.
I think you would have thought it was absolutely bonkers crazy. I think you would have thought it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah,
like
for sure.
Why are these fucking high school students talking like this?
Why are they talking exactly? Why are they talking like this? Because every time I thought that, I thought because it's just hardcore. That's why my word was hard boiled, because this was one of the most film noirs of all time.
Like that just that cool, the cryptic but quirky, clever dialogue. That's like the epitome.
Really good dialogue.
And he's basically a detective. He's not a detective really, but his character's a detective. He's trying to fucking solve a murder, and drugs are involved. But it was like
along with his buddy Brain. That Brain guy was pretty cool.
Which is an interesting character.
He was awesome.
It reminded me of this is not a great comparison, but it reminded me of like Dawson's Creek. Because remember how like Dawson's Creek was always criticized for like their dialogue, because the Dawson's Creek like they kind of almost talk not like noir-y, but they talk like scholars more or less, like very like sophisticated like way but they're high school students. And I think that was one of the big criticisms of that show, is that they talked in an unrealistic way for high school students, which this movie did, even though, yes, I get what they were going for, of course.
This is almost like a Coen Brothers movie. That's really just fucking Kevin with Smith. It's almost like a burn after reading type of movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a satire. It's taking high school and taking a film noir and just combining them, like, because he did it for the money. He had all the locations. Like there's not like a location in this movie that he probably had to pay for more than like a couple $100. Like it was in people's houses. It was in basements. It was in a school. It was in parking lots. It was in fucking a fucking theater. Like him and who's the chick who was the theater chick who was like almost like his nemesis, Megan Good. Yeah, but who was her name? What was her name in the movie?
Fuck, I remember.
I don't know, but her character was fun too. She was like the damsel that kind of had shit on lock, but like she could be got to, and the old relationship. Yeah. She was almost like a lady Eddie Valiant would date or something.
Right. That was another character I thought that was a bit.
You said
the Megan Good.
The girl that was always in the theater.
Yeah,
the theater girl.
Like some
She was crazy.
She was annoying because she was like her shit was like almost too quirky as well. Like
I loved it.
Like,
I loved the
always,
music.
like, doing some weird character.
Every time they came into her, they had that piano kind of playing, that kind of sexy piano, and she was always just kind of seducing him. She was my favorite character, probably.
Yeah, I mean, and like even the same with the other chick, the Laura or Nora. No, it was Laura. The white chick that she like met at the party that he met at the party that he kind of was like sort of seeing at the car, like the girl with the car. Yeah, like she was like leaned into that fucking damsel and just like leaned into that role real hard.
100%.
But
she had like the troubled past involved with the bad guy in certain ways, like
she was
hanging out with the bad
end,
guys.
Right?
It was almost like Shakespearean too. I feel like he had the hierarchy of like a Shakespearean play.
Yeah. And I don't know, some of the characters were like, again, like I get what they were trying for, but it's like they tried too hard sometimes because they were almost like one-dimensional characters. And
I think that was purposely for that though. Like,
oh, for sure.
This is the thing. If this movie was set in a film noir fucking location where it was like Mickey Rourke in a suit trying to find this girl, like we would not have any problem with any of that. This is just like he was like, what can I? Where?
Because he wanted to make.
Where can I make a film noir where it's never been made before? Yeah. What do I have at my disposal to do it? He was like, I want to make a film noir. What kind can I make at my disposal for $450,000?
And what's different? And what kind that I can do different?
Exactly.
That's why. Exactly. That is why he did it. Yeah. Probably in a high school is because it's unlike anything we've ever seen.
And he was 32 years old, so he was our age when he did it.
That's also why everyone's so one-dimensional. It's because he had a puzzle that he needed that he had pre-fit. Everything had to fit in the puzzle the way film noir does, and it did. Yeah. It did in a very obvious way. The vice principal, the way he talked to his vice principal, like he was like the police captain.
Exactly.
And let's dude, the way it's shot, the way it's fucking shot with all the ceilings and the looking up and the low angles and all that shit. It's like a spaghetti western mixed with like an Orson Welles movie.
Yeah.
I thought like all the shots of all the double up shots of like someone on the ground in the foreground and someone walking this way. That's like Sergio Leone 101 shit.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, in my opinion, the cinematography was the only thing that I thought was a little unimaginative. But maybe
really? I thought
also because it was fitting a stereotype.
It was almost like a student film.
Yeah.
Yes, almost. But, they're also students, so maybe that has something to do with it.
It's about as good as that van was.
I was going to say it was shot like a college film, but I think I think it's better than that.
Yeah, a little bit, better, but like
I don't think it relies on the cinematography. I think it was a great story.
Yeah,
it was a fun. It was a fun story. It was great characters. The writing was solid. I think the dialogue was really cool. It was somewhere between like Breakfast. There was a Breakfast Club. That's what I wrote. Were there shots straight out of Breakfast Club? In that movie?
But the dynamic. Everyone had that dynamic. It was like the hierarchy of the school type shit. So that's probably where that came from.
And everyone had a specific role, like
everyone played the bad person.
If Ferris Bueller could have played that guy. Like, this could have happened in Ferris Bueller's high school.
100%. And I think this, like I said, it borderlines. There's some scenes, especially with the pin and in his like underground. Like I love that like his basement of his mom's house is like his lair, and then like he goes upstairs, his mom's like making him food and like that's amazing. And then she's like, I'll just go in the other room. And then they start talking like henchmen shit. Like that's where I was just like, this is a straight up fucking comedy. This is a goddamn comedy. Like 100% a comedy.
That was hilarious.
But you think about it too, like Knives Out is kind of the same way. Knives Out borderlines on like, is this too much? Is this a little too much? But it just never quite is too much. You know what I mean? And he had a real budget with Knives Out, so he got to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
That's a good movie. He's a great writer. Rian Johnson's a great writer.
He's an amazing writer. He is a good writer.
He just fucked Star Wars up.
And he directed the three Breaking Bad episodes he directed are some of the best. He directed the first one he did was the Fly episode where he got the fly was stuck in the and then he did 51, which was the 50th show. And then the last one he did was Ozymandias, where he kills Hank. Yep. He directed that one too.
I think that's literally like the best episode of television.
It's one of them.
Of Breaking Bad.
That's a top 5 episode of television. Yeah. Like the Battle of the Bastards is up there with top episodes of television.
True.
Like there's a couple Sopranos episodes you can probably put up there, but like that episode is definitely top 10.
That's the one.
When they kill
in my
Hank.
opinion. That's number 1 of my They kill Hank.
Might be.
He steals the baby. All this shit,
the
craziest shit happens in the second episode. Like
that is the best show of all time, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. So maybe it has to be number 1.
It's the best episode of the best show, and so to me, that's
Breaking Bad. Yeah, I was just saying, it's time to watch that again because there's so much I don't remember about it but I know that
it's a great rewatch too.
After when I was done, I thought that was the best show of all time.
It was just the story arc alone of a normal ass dude who's like an underachiever, who's like a really smart person, and ends up becoming like a boss and a bad person willing to kill people. That just main plot point that is just the center of it is just amazing in itself. Just not to mention all the great other side characters. That's why that show's so great. It's the characters, and they had enough time to develop the characters. They had 5 seasons. Like everyone's story arc is like really great on that show. Even the villains, like Gus and everything. Like the way Gus goes out is fucking amazing. Like that's one of the best episodes too. Is when he kills Gus with the ding ding ding.
That's what I thought we were talking about first, but no, the Hank episode.
Yeah,
I can't even remember that episode. They hit him with the car, right? They run him over.
No, they're in the desert.
Oh yeah.
Little Tuco.
Yeah.
They fucking light him up.
Yeah, that's another good one. That was probably the early best one. But that was only like season 2.
But it has to be said that Rian Johnson ruined 40 years of
he ruined Luke Skywalker. He like ruined one of the best characters of cinema. So
I will say right now, if that scene didn't exist in the movie where Princess Leia is floating in space, I probably wouldn't agree with you. But because that scene, I agree with you. That was the worst thing he could have possibly done in a Star Wars movie.
I think where a hologram fucking Luke Skywalker brushed dust off his shoulders, the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. But
it's not quite as dumb as her in space, but it's right there. It's right below it.
We're all entitled to our opinions of what the dumbest thing in the world is.
We all agree.
Having said that,
we all agree.
Having said that scene, the 2 best parts of the trilogy, in my opinion, he created. One of them is that the way Rey and Kylo communicate through their minds, I thought was pretty fucking awesome. And the scene in the throne room where they battle all the people and Snoke dies is the best scene of the entire trilogy. So those 2 things exist in that movie.
Of the entire, sure.
It looked the cool. Right, I think it maybe looked the coolest.
Yeah, it was very flashy and it had like cool sounds. Good job, Ryan.
That's essentially scene.
Star
Maybe
Wars, if you watched it again, you would know.
Good job, Ryan.
Looked cool at flashy
but
sounds.
He ruined the Skywalker legacy.
He did.
That just has to be said. Other than that,
luckily,
I like every other movie he's made.
Luckily, he released Knives Out after that. I'm like, all right, fuck, he's good.
He's good.
And I always reminded myself, he directed the best episode of TV, so it's a hard to hate him.
He did some bad things for Star Wars.
Yep, sure did.
Those could have been so good.
He brought Yoda back.
Those could have been so good. I could have brought Yoda back, dude. With the way that Lucas and JJ and everyone set up the first movie to make the next movie.
Lucas had nothing to do with that.
He was there.
No, he wasn't.
He agreed. He was cool with it.
J.J. Abrams did a better job in creating the characters you wanted to follow, but he also just recreated Star Wars. They were building a goddamn Death Star.
The way they set up.
He lived on a goddamn fucking desert planet where she had no family. Like, they
set it up so good that I could have directed the next movie, and it would have been better than what.
The best part of the new trilogy is by far Kylo Ren. He was like what Anakin Skywalker should have been.
Kylo Ren's great.
Yeah, I like Kylo. Kylo
Ren's great.
Because it's played by Adam Driver, and he's just the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Hated Star Wars after that. The only reason I'm back is because of Jon Favreau.
And Dave Filoni.
Those 2 brought me back. And they brought back, you know who else they brought back? Spoiler?
Boba Fett.
And
Todd Skywalker.
Baby Yoda?
No, that's
caught
Grogu,
up,
you
right?
idiot.
I don't know. I haven't watched the show.
Oh.
Well, they redeemed it.
Not caught up by
That's all
now.
I'm saying. They
If
redeemed.
If you're not caught up by now, it's too late. We're gonna ruin it.
No, I already heard.
Who's back?
I already heard he came back. Well, I don't want to ruin it for our listeners.
They redeemed.
Well, I do. Todd Skywalker is back.
If they redeemed Todd, great.
They redeemed Todd Skywalker.
They do.
Speaking of Todds,
Todd Johnson.
I think
Brick.
another dumb name is Brad, and I thought that was funny that the character they used in the movie in Brick was Brad. He was like the jock that like he first fought.
Yeah, Brad
And I'm like,
Bramish.
yeah, I thought it was a good name for that character because I'm like, I don't think I've met a Brad I like.
I wrote right here, Brad Bramish sucks.
Right.
He looks like a tiny rock.
I wrote "fuck Brad" in my notes.
So I read that the brain character, there's a fan theory that he's just in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's head, that he doesn't exist. What do you guys think about that?
I can see that.
I could see that. That's interesting because I noticed like he was never really. Every shot of him was like sort of weirdly obscured. Like most of his shots were like profile shots, and then there was like at the end he would just kind of like he would just kind of disappear. And at the end he was just kind of like behind him.
I thought I missed something there. I was like, did he walk away or did he just?
That makes sense. I didn't think too much about it, but I did notice that there was some weirdness surrounding that character. And he would just feed him and he was always just feeding him information.
Because he was looking at her walking away, and then it cut back to him, and he wasn't there anymore. And I was like, oh, he just pieced out. That was weird.
Is that just his brain?
He just run away.
Is that literally just his brain?
I think it's just his brain. Yeah, because it's called brain.
Because like I don't know where does brain get all that information? You know what I'm saying? Like he was always just like he was in the know, but like it didn't seem like he had any friends. No one else was ever shown talking to him.
It's like he would just go and he would give him the lowdown, and then that was it. And then he would peace out.
Yeah, so, is this like a Bruce? Maybe it's a Bruce Willis Sixth Sense situation.
Interesting. That guy never existed.
Maybe he's just he's a ghost that only Joseph.
I liked him. I like that character.
Is this the prequel to Sixth Sense, or is it a sequel to Sixth Sense?
This is the sequel.
Their conversation, the Last Jedi, dude.
Between him and Brain, those are my favorite like back and forths. I thought those were great.
Because to be fair, also in the Rian Johnson universe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Bruce Willis.
It's true.
That makes sense. Wait, what?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because he was in Looper, and Rian Johnson directed Looper.
I forgot he had the nose.
Yep, this is all. Yeah, it's all tying together.
And they had like electric sticks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeses.
Wasn't Paul Dano in Looper?
He was.
Did he get beat up? Did he get beat up in Looper?
He was. He got beat up by Jeff Bridges. I mean, not Jeff Bridges. Jeff. Who's the guy from Dumb and Dumber? Jeff who?
Bridges.
Daniels.
Lloyd.
No.
Daniels,
Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels is the mob boss in Looper.
That's right. Because I thought
Paul Dano.
I made a note. It would be funny if this character in that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was played by Paul Dano instead, and he just gets his ass beat the whole time.
I thought it was Paul Dano.
He always does. I don't know if it's Dano or Dano. I think it's Dano because it's an A.
In the first shot of JGL when he was looking at the dead girl, I was like, "Is that fucking Paul Dano again? We watch another PD movie." But then I remember
we're
that
just gonna go through PD's discography.
That shot of the dark tunnel, by the way, with her dead body is pretty cool. It's very David Lynch.
Yeah, that like opening was like creepy.
It was pretty sweet.
Him like chilling there by the dead body. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was dope.
Pretty
Wait,
cool
so who
opening.
killed her? Did Tug kill her?
I think it was Tug.
Yeah, I think Tug shot that dude because he killed her.
Yeah, because we all thought he was talking about JGL, but Tug was like, "No, Tug, you."
I think it was when Tug found out she was pregnant or something.
You ever see MacGruber?
Oh yeah.
Yo, I've never seen MacGruber. Let's make me watch it, please.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are you serious? No,
Yeah,
it's
I've
such a
never
bad
seen it.
movie.
I think I need to see it though.
It's so bad.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
I've heard it's great.
It's pretty
Davidson
great.
thinks it's great, and I actually think Davidson's pretty hilarious, so I want to watch it.
No, Davidson's one of the funniest people I know, and that's the reason I watched it. It's not a funny movie.
It just came out on Amazon Prime, I noticed. So.
What? All right, well, that's my next pick.
All right, good. Making myself watch MacGruber.
We'll watch it. Why not?
I would love to do that. That'd be fun as fun.
All right. God damn it. Then we have to have Davidson on the next one.
Can we have a guest spot with Davidson and talk about MacGruber?
He has to. Because he would have a very well thought out explanation as to why MacGruber is one of the greatest movies of all time.
All right, we'll sidebar this conversation. We'll talk about this.
We're still talking about Brick.
Talk about Brick.
Yeah, Brick. Anthony, tell us something about Brick. Come on, anything. Tell us.
I said I said a lot. I thought that the camera work was not very imaginative, but there was some cool stuff. I loved all like the cool zooms. There was a lot of zooms that I like. I like when people use zooms. Other than that, yeah, I didn't think the cinematography was very cool. I mean, not cool. I just thought it followed the same path that the characters followed, and that it just had it needed to be noir, and it followed all those tropes. It didn't look like a $400,000 movie.
No, unless you paid like fucking JGL fucking $300,000.
Probably the case. Yeah.
Probably he's probably a $250,000, and then the rest of it was, renting that fucking sweet van.
I got a lot of that van was sewed up. I got a lot of Breakfast Club vibes and a lot of not a lot, but a couple Ferris Bueller vibes off of, but that was more. I think it was more Breakfast Club vibes from it.
I like
especially that walking in that big field. All the shots of them just walking through that field.
I like that everybody played a character. Like they weren't just a person in a movie; they were an actual character. Yeah. They all had very distinct
specific
looks, very distinct attitudes, very distinct auras, and I think that's what I liked most about this movie. Like I feel like this is almost equivalent to Wes Anderson's first movie, Bottle Rocket, that had like all the quirkiness of his other movies, but the visual style just wasn't quite there yet. And I feel like that this was kind of the same way.
One thing I didn't like about the characters though is like they always had the same wardrobe, which is obviously the
movie takes place over like 2 or 3 days.
Right, but they're literally wearing the same thing for 3 days.
I mean, well, I think that the dude, the guy,
other than the femme fatale chick.
I think that what's his name, Tug. I think that guy probably wore the same outfit every day, which was jeans, white beater, and also the needle or the pin. Yeah, the pin. That dude, 100% wore that outfit every day, no matter what.
It just seemed like cartoony in that.
I'm making myself a king.
Oh, I know. It just. But
no, I read that
I don't know if I love
based that character off of the father from Dark Shadows, the TV show. That's the coat and the style he was going for.
Is that a cartoon?
No, it was a old like sitcom, kind of like the Munsters type of thing.
He was great. He was great. He was like, what was he, like 22 years old?
Who knows? No, that dude was supposed to be like 18. They were in high school.
He was in high school.
Yeah, that's the great part about this. All those kids were just in high school.
It reminds me of like
I love that.
It was like South Park. It's like this is ridiculous shit going on. I can't believe these kids are 8 years old.
It is. It's South Park. Holy shit. That's the best thing I've ever heard. So I went to at the New Beverly, like 2015 or 2016, I went to a double showing of this movie and Looper, and Rian Johnson came out and talked about it and shit. And there were like all these fans there asking him about like all these theories of like Looper, and they're like, well, what if this happened? And what if that happened? He was giving them the best like responses, which were like, listen, man, blah, 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 blah. But if you want that to be the way it is, man, then that could be the way it is. He's like, I write these movies because it's what I want to see. But if you get that from it, that's like way cooler. So you should go with that. And I was like, that's awesome. Like this guy's just killing the game with the writing, but he's super. But anyway, the point of it is he was very like, don't read too much into it. But I did it specifically for like a reason. So every piece of weird dialogue that you hear, he wanted them to hit it that absurdly. Like that was be hit like that, like as much as it could be.
No, they nailed it. It was like even the worst, most cheesy, absurd lines, they nailed it.
Yeah. I read that even though it was only shot in I saw pictures just depicting that it was shot in only 20 days.
Oh wow!
And,
I see that.
Oh wow!
But it was rehearsed with the actors for like 3 months.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
3 months of rehearsals. So like I get why, like because all of the acting seems so precise.
Yeah.
Like it's so like exactly what like the director would have wanted. So
It's very
it makes
Kevin
sense after I
Smith.
read that.
Kevin Smith dialogue like.
If Kevin Smith had a film noir, this would have been it.
Ooh, that would be so dope.
The thing is that Kevin Smith's a very intelligent person. He just talks like with a potty mouth. So this is kind of like PG Kevin Smith. You're right.
His last
PGKS, dude.
His last several movies have been straight shit, though.
Well,
he's really lost it.
Listen, Kevin Smith made his movies. Let's put it this way.
I think he just does what he wants to do.
Yeah, Kevin Smith made his hits. Kevin Smith played the hits. He's not playing no hits no more.
Wow.
Okay, just doo-doo now.
Jeez, I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast.
No, I hope he does because I love Kevin Smith, but I'm not gonna lie. Your last 3 movies have been doo-doo.
Yeah.
Goodness.
True.
Hey, Kevin, I made a movie. You know what? It's doo-doo too, so it's all right.
But yeah, like Mallrats and like that old, like I think he created like another universe essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I love
that new universe is trash, and his old universe is fucking great. Like the Jay and Silent Bob universe is great.
Yeah, but like, now there's a walrus in the
Canadian horror
universe.
movie.
He has been directing like WB, like episodes of
Oh my god, it's trash.
He's been directing episodes of WB TV shows like Supergirl and like Gotham and shit. He's directed a couple of those.
Yeah, I've seen that he's done a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. He's also a very big podcaster now.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't have enough time. He doesn't have enough time to listen to our podcast because he's doing like 3 a day.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin Smith's podcast.
Hey, Kevin and his listeners, listen to us. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. So where does this rank on your Rian Johnson movie list? So he's only got a few movies. So where does it rank?
Rankin Johnson's?
Rankin Johnson's. Not our rank.
Oh, we're just gonna rank all
the Rian Johnson rank.
I never saw Brothers Bloom.
Me neither. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Sexy.
Which I feel like I've always been wanted to, but I've never gotten around to it.
He made that after this, before Looper.
Yeah. I'd probably put this over Looper.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Looper's number 1 for me.
Oh, all right.
I gotta watch Looper again.
And I think Knives Out is probably his best movie.
I think Looper's number 1, Knives Out number 2.
Knives Out number 1.
And then
Looper number 2.
I mean,
this one.
Last Jedi is doo-doo.
Last Jedi, whatever his last most terrible movie is, Last Jedi is below that.
He hasn't made a lot. He hasn't directed a lot of movies.
Well,
no, he hasn't.
Last Jedi's on the bottom.
Last Jedi's on the bottom.
It could be even a good movie if that movie was not a Star Wars movie, and it was just other people with other names. It would have been fine.
Right. True. That's a good. Yeah,
Johnson,
you're right.
Boo. But you know, all your other movies are great.
Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I think this would be my number 2 movie of his.
He just made so many fans sad. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, bro, you gotta stop. You and Mark Hamill, shut up.
Mark Hamill apologized. You see that?
For what?
He apologized for what his remarks toward Rian Johnson
about the character
and everything that he said, because he thinks that it's his fault that there's a big divide in fans now.
It honestly probably is.
It's not.
I don't think it's his fault at all. I think people.
It's what Rian Johnson did with Luke Skywalker's character.
It's Rian Johnson's fault. Yeah.
It's Rian Johnson's fault. Luke.
I'm gonna.
The fact that Luke said that,
he says he takes it back, which I think is bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm gonna take Mark Hamill ruined it because I'm gonna stick up for
No, I only use that as a defense of my hatred. I'm like, well, fucking Mark Hamill agrees with me. That's what
you don't know Mark Hamill. He's not a nice guy. I heard.
No,
what?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
I heard he's a bad guy.
I heard he's the nicest guy in the world.
I don't know, man.
He could very well be a dick. I have no idea.
What? Have you watched interviews with him?
I'm kidding. I have heard no Mark Hamill slander. He is the man.
He seems like he's a nice guy.
I hope we get to have him on our podcast one day soon.
Mark Hamill, hope you're listening.
Yeah, Mark Hamill, Rian Johnson, Kevin Smith, Matt Davidson. You're all welcome.
I think we'll be able to get Kevin Smith, but Matt Davidson might be hard.
Yeah. Let's rank them.
It's tough. What about
wait, what else? You got anything else to say about this, Jake? I know you got something jotted down your little pad there.
I mean, yeah, actually, I think I'll just say my favorite line was when they were behind the grocery store, and he said something like, "Hey, hash heads, I got 5 cents and I slept last night, so I'm 6 up on you," or something weird like that. It was very like quirky, and I thought it was a very funny.
When he punches the other guy in the face, and knocks the cigarette out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that was a good character too. What was his name?
There was like a bunch of
Blokes or something.
Something like that.
Belvedere.
Brokes.
That guy's name. But yeah, they were talking behind the grocery store, and there was like
Dode.
Dode, that's it. And there was like all the other drug addicts, which kind of reminded me of just like thugs that like a bad guy would have hanging around him. And he just kind of like, they were like about to start shit with him, and he said that, and I thought that was funny.
There were some epic quotes in here. In fact, I'm just gonna look some up right now because
if I had to pick a favorite scene, I really love that chase scene. I think we haven't talked about that chase scene when the dude pulls a knife on him, and then they like run around in the hallways, and he did that move where he like took his shoes off and then like snuck up and tripped him. I thought that was just like,
I'm not sure why he took his shoes off to do that, but
because I think
great.
Yeah, it's true. The guy most likely wouldn't have heard him like taking steps back, but that was why I think he did that because he could run back and then do the slide. Just
so did you notice?
Hear him?
You notice you hear the boom of the pole, and then he's got a big mark here. But when he cuts to him, his shoulder is like hit the pole. So I wasn't sure if he hit it like here or here.
And then he hit his
and
head.
then like slid.
That had to fucking hurt.
That's the sound of that
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's dead. That dude's dead. That dude dead, dude.
Those are my favorites. I thought like the way they shot that like chase scene was pretty cool because it was very like simple, but it was like simple but effective.
I actually liked the way they shot the movie. The framing was great. I loved how there was so much in the foreground, and then like the things would just show up in the background, and things that were important to the plot that either people were getting into or people needed. Or I thought the brain always sitting in the foreground and him moving behind him was fun. Like I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty fun.
It was simple, cool. But he knew what he was doing. I think it was very precise what he was doing, but it was simple because he was just working with what he had, which I think is a good thing about this movie. Like it wasn't a great film,
but I don't think that it was
bad. He did well with what he had.
Or I didn't like it by any means. I just think that it fit it's just following a very straight path when it comes to noir cinematography, and it was great. Would have been better in black and white with smoke everywhere. Lights coming through the blinds. Cool.
I wonder if he thought about shooting in black and white.
What was it shot on? Probably Alexa.
No, this was 2003, so it was probably film.
Canon 5D.
What's film? Canon 5D.
I want to know now. Actually, it's a low budget, so it couldn't have been anything crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, for $400,000 and using your own high school, you could probably rent the.
Yeah, let's hope that camera.
That's probably what he spent the money on.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's probably what he spent the money on.
Probably Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Really?
So legitimately probably was half of that.
He was kind of a nobody.
I don't think he was a nobody at that point. I think he was like a rising star.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt being in this movie is definitely why this movie got attention. The only reason why anybody knows this movie is because Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in it.
I wouldn't have seen it.
If he wasn't in it, no one would have
10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago when I saw it the first time, I wanted to see
no
it.
way.
I saw it because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
This movie got bought.
JGL.
Well, no, but this movie got bought because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in it. Like people buy movies because of the stars in them, their face, that they can sell them. They knew that for $475,000 that they didn't pay for. This movie made $4 million. It made 8 times what it cost.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when it got released or anything like that. I definitely heard about it later.
Was it released in theaters?
Yeah, I think so.
Apparently so.
It's a Focus Features movie. Focus Features is a pretty big company. That's an independent film icon.
They were good with independence back in that time period. And they still are.
Yeah, but like late 90s to like 2010, that was probably like their heyday, and this was in there.
What did he shoot it on?
It doesn't say. I think it's a Arriflex camera. But it says it used those lenses, but it doesn't say the camera. And then it's just 35mm film. I think it was shot on film.
We'll never know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Anything else? Should we go to the ranks now, or do you guys?
Let's rank it.
Got any more scenes, comments, questions, concerns?
I think I said everything that I took from this movie, and the thing I took from it most is that it was a first-time filmmaker with a low budget, actually making something original that was done well, and that's what I like most about it.
Certainly, quality debut. Like it doesn't like
for sure. People saw this movie.
Don't get much better than 35.
Right, people saw this movie and were like, "Damn, if we give that guy budget, he'll make a great movie," and that's the truth.
Right. True.
All right.
Probably spent a lot of money on film too.
Where am I ranking this? This is a hard one because it's a good movie, but we've watched a lot of better movies.
Since we're at this point in the show, I am going to again change my ranking from the previous episode. I'm gonna Prisoners. Prisoners was our last episode. Okay. And I had Prisoners at 15. Took a long, hard look at my list. I'm bumping it up to 10.
Okay.
Long and hard, right above Basic Instinct, the longest, hardest movie we've seen. Yeah, I don't know. I looked. That was kind of the spot where I'm like, I feel like it is better than Basic Instinct, and all the other movies below that, it could have been arguably better than all those too. So, number 10. It's in the
Prisoners is a great movie.
It is. It really is. I love the way it's written. Yeah. I love the way it's shot. The acting is incredible. Like, there's nothing wrong with Prisoners to me.
Yeah.
So, when I find flaws in other films, so Prisoners is fucking great.
It's flawless, you're saying? It's a flawless movie?
I don't know about that, but it's damn near flawless.
All right, where are you guys putting this? Should I go first or you got a spot?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to put it...
You can edit now, so go for it.
I'm going to put it at number 20.
Word. Fair. Where's it? What's around your number 20?
It's going to go behind Frighteners, in front of Border. I think Frighteners is just a little bit better of a movie.
Word. Yeah, I was kind of going in that kind of same zone as well. Where's my list? Where am I looking? I think I was going to put it at you guys aren't going to like this, but I'm going to put it at number 26, which is right under Cool Hand Luke.
Under Cool Hand Luke?
What?
Right under Cool Hand Luke.
How do you?
Oh my god!
You'd rather watch Cool Hand Luke than this movie?
Really?
Hold on.
No way.
Did you like that? I got to re-listen to that podcast.
You rather watch Paul Newman eat eggs with the climactic scene in the movie?
No.
Hey, that was the dopest part of that movie.
I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. 24. I think it's right. It's just a little better than Nocturnal Animals.
Right, I can respect
Luke's a little high on your list as it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Whatever. Yeah, it's a little better than Nocturnal Animals, and it's right below Mank.
I agree with that. I'll give it that.
The 24.
You're a weirdo.
Because I don't know. To defend Cool Hand Luke, I still really like the character of Luke. I think that movie had. I think it was just kind of boring. That was it. But I think it was still like a really good story. I liked that story. I liked the movie.
Yeah, so, it was pretty terrible.
That's where I'm gonna put Brick, because I almost put Brick a little lower because of sometimes I was annoyed by it. But yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put it at number 23. I'm gonna put it above Mank. No.
Anthony, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I might go right under Frighteners as well. I don't know if this should go right under or right above Frighteners. It's certainly not better than Goonies.
It's definitely not better than Sunset Boulevard either. Sorry, but don't put it above Sunset Boulevard.
I can't even remember what Sunset Boulevard was about. What movie was that?
That was about that road.
Basically our other film noir that we watched recently, but that was more true to it, the fact that the guy wasn't a detective.
The fact that Sunset Boulevard is number 16 on your list is pretty crazy. That's definitely top 10 no matter what, in my opinion.
That's cool.
I was originally going to have Sunset Boulevard a little lower.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, like, once we talked it out, I liked it a little bit more.
Ah, fuck. Do I like it better? I'm going to put it right above Sunset Boulevard for now.
What above it?
Yeah.
I think it's fair enough. I see it. Frighteners to me is a little lower for my taste.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it was I was a couple spots above Frighteners originally, but realizing now I liked it more.
Boom. That's whoa. Where'd I go? Number 16 for me, right below Frighteners, right above Sunset Boulevard.
16, 20, and 24.
Yeah, what'd you decide on? 20 now? You ended at 20?
I'm at 24. I already put it on the list.
Oh, you're at 24. Jake or Schwartz is at 20.
I can't write still. I'm trying.
Yeah,
it says view. It says view only.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
We'll take care of it.
You've abused it in the past, so
hands off. You don't deserve it.
There's a fucking hierarchy over here, huh?
That's right.
A tiery hierarchy, dude.
You're at the fucking bottom.
We're like Trump.
Right, like how our screens are set up too. You're in the bottom of the pyramid.
You're in the bottom of mine.
Well, that's because yours is wrong.
Mine's logical. Yours is doo-doo.
I have us all on top.
Yeah, you're definitely a top. Jake's definitely a bottom.
Way to the top. Oh yeah. Randy, get in the room. Sorry.
What was that? Are you actually talking to somebody?
That's his gimp.
It was Randy.
You got a gimp, dude? You got a gimp named Randy?
Yeah, he had a gimp named Randy. He does Macho Man Randy Savage impersonations.
And then he comes over and Jake smacks his ass.
Yeah, it's weird. But we all have our things, so don't
weird
judge
but
me.
not surprising.
Did you guys read about Arnie Hammer? He quit a movie today because somebody accused him of being a cannibal. They said they texted with him and he said he wanted to drink their blood and like eat people with them.
Oh.
Did he?
I don't know. That's what he's getting accused of though.
I mean, quitting is kind of
bold.
Kind of makes him look suspicious.
He says he's quitting because he doesn't feel safe for his family leaving them for 3 months to go shoot a movie.
Wait, so someone accused Armie Hammer of being a cannibal, or someone texted Armie Hammer threats that he was going to eat Armie and his family?
No, someone said that Armie Hammer claimed that he wanted to eat people in a text message and drink blood.
Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, what? Say what?
No, I did not read that.
Yeah, I just read it.
I haven't heard of it. Did you read it after you wrote it down on a piece of paper in your notebook?
You just make that up. You just make that up, write it down, and then read it.
It does sound a little much, and I respect that. But no, if you Google that will pop up probably a couple times.
All right.
That's fucking hilarious. I'm just like, Arnie Hammer is a cannibal.
Yeah, because what I just read.
Oh man, you ever see the Trey Parker classic Cannibal the Musical?
You know, I don't think I have. I've seen it Orgasmo a bunch of times, but I don't think I ever saw that. I know
Orgasmo is ridiculous. Orgasmo is pretty much Book of Mormon with porn.
Yeah, pretty much.
Porn?
Yeah.
Well, that's like the whole subplot or the whole.
Have you not seen Orgasmo?
He's like this Mormon.
What? You've never seen Orgasmo? Or Cannibal the Musical?
To make money.
Two movies that Trey Parker has written and directed. You fucking love Trey Parker.
I do. I should.
Orgasmo is definitely worth a watch. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, Orgasmo. Should we do that next? We'll do that and MacGruber back to back.
Just two comedies.
Two irreverent fucking.
One's not.
Two irreverent fucking weird things.
I mean, we did CB4 and UHF together, so we could technically do another double
feature.
A double feature of
let's
dumb
end on Brick. I say watch it if you hate Rian Johnson but want to like him because you're a good person.
You got to like movies to like this. But if you're listening to this podcast, you probably like movies, so whatever.
Davidson. Watch it. Why are we telling people to watch it if they should have already watched it?
I just thought that myself.
Because some people are assholes and don't watch it, just listen. But that's fine too. As long as you're listening, it's fine.
You are listening, and it is fine. And we thank you for that. Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies. Next week's episode is a little bit of a surprise. It's a first in 407 episodes of Making Me Watch Movies. We're going to have a guest host, and the movie we'll be discussing is 2010 epic comedy MacGruber. That's available on Amazon Prime. MacGruber, directed by Jorma Taccone. Check that out before you listen to us next week, Wednesday, wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, MMwM_podcasts, and listen next week to find out who our very special guest is. Bye-bye, friends.